If sharks lived on land, humans would no longer be Earth's most terrifying predators, and the food chain would change forever. At first, many believed they were only stranded fish. That assumption became humanity's first deadly mistake. After millions of years of evolution, sharks developed powerful legs and primitive lungs to breathe air. They were no longer trapped in the ocean. Every beach became the beginning of a deadly hunt. Scientists discovered they could smell blood from astonishing distances, even while moving across dry land. Even a tiny cut was enough to make nearby sharks instantly turn and charge toward their prey. A peaceful camping trip turned into chaos when a pack of sharks emerged from the nearby forest. People screamed and ran, but the sharks moved much faster than anyone had ever expected. Their powerful muscles gave them explosive speed, making escape almost impossible. But this was only the first day. Humanity's real nightmare had only just begun, with far worse still to come. Within days, coastal cities entered lockdown as shark attacks rose far faster than anyone had predicted. But the danger didn't stop at the shoreline. Sharks pushed farther inland, searching for new sources of food. Biologists discovered their bodies retained moisture efficiently, preventing their skin from drying out in open air. Their lightweight cartilage skeletons made them far more agile than most land predators with heavy bones. Police dogs detected the scent of sharks deep inside the forest, but the warning came far too late. A park ranger rushed to evacuate visitors. Seconds later, the bushes ahead suddenly began to shake. A shark burst from the undergrowth at incredible speed, sending the terrified group running in every direction. Scientists explained they didn't need to hunt constantly, but every attack was frighteningly fast and precise. Governments deployed troops and built steel barriers around neighborhoods, hoping to stop the growing wave of attacks. But while everyone focused on protecting people, an even greater threat was quietly beginning to emerge. The new threat wasn't humanity. It was an entire ecosystem slowly beginning to collapse. Deer, elk, and wild boars became their primary prey, and their populations fell at an unprecedented rate. As prey disappeared, native predators like wolves, tigers, and leopards faced a severe food shortage. Competition between predators quickly erupted, and nearly every encounter ended in injury or death. Scientists confirmed sharks possessed a bite force far greater than most land carnivores could survive. Even thick hides and heavy shells only delayed a shark's deadly attack by a few seconds. One full-grown tiger stood its ground, defending its territory against a massive land shark. One devastating bite ended the fight. The forest's top predator had a new ruler. News spread worldwide. People no longer felt safe walking through parks or camping in the wilderness. But the most terrifying part was still ahead, as sharks began adapting even faster than scientists had predicted. After only a few generations, sharks became even deadlier, as natural selection rapidly improved their hunting skills. They learned to ambush prey behind rocks, dense bushes, and even along quiet country roads. Scientists discovered their brains were adapting to remember landscapes and predict the movements of nearby prey. A group of farmers finished harvesting when their livestock suddenly fled in blind panic. Seconds later, a massive shark burst from the tall grass, killing its prey with a single bite. The damage spread beyond livestock as food supplies began falling across entire regions. Food prices kept rising while countless farms were abandoned because they had become far too dangerous. The military deployed armored vehicles and drones to track down packs of land-dwelling sharks. But whenever one area was secured, the sharks appeared somewhere else, almost anticipating every human move. Scientists realized the battle was no longer about saving cities, but protecting the future of human civilization. Laboratories worldwide searched for a biological weakness before the crisis slipped completely beyond human control. Scientists discovered sharks still needed constantly moist skin to breathe efficiently and survive on land. That limitation forced them to remain close to rivers, lakes, and other humid environments. Humans quickly built new settlements farther from natural water sources to reduce the risk of attacks. But living farther from water created enormous challenges for farming, industry, and everyday survival. As food became scarce, some shark packs began fighting each other for territory and hunting grounds. Years of brutal battles gradually reduced their population as dominant sharks killed one another. With prey disappearing, their reproduction slowed because they no longer had enough energy to sustain large populations. The ecosystem slowly regained balance, but only after countless animal species had disappeared forever. It seemed the nightmare was finally over, but the greatest lesson was only beginning to emerge. Scientists concluded that even one small evolutionary change could completely reshape life across the entire planet. When a top predator enters a new environment, every ecosystem is forced to face devastating chain reactions. History has already shown this through invasive species that drove countless native animals toward extinction. If sharks truly lived on land, humans would struggle for years to adapt as quickly as they could. Fortunately, modern biology makes such an evolutionary leap extremely unlikely to ever happen. A shark's body depends on water to support its weight, protect its organs, and maintain vital functions. Away from the ocean for too long, its own body would quickly become its greatest burden. That's why the ocean remains the only place where sharks truly rule as apex predators. Sometimes nature's limits are not weaknesses, but the very systems that keep life on Earth in balance. Perhaps the scariest part isn't sharks walking on land, but how one change in nature could transform the entire world.